There are so many language apps to choose from, with new ones showing up like every day. With all of these options available, how do we choose the one that we want to use to learn a language? In this video, I will talk about 6 different features of a great language app, why those features are important, and of course, some examples of language apps that do this really, really well. If you're new here, hi. My name is Jamie, I am a language coach, and my job is to help language learners understand how to learn a language in a way that works for them using the options that are available out there. So if you want to know more, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. The first sign that a language app is really, really great is that it introduces new vocabulary within context and not just by itself. A lot of us have learned to learn new vocabulary by taking that new word or phrase and just translating it and understanding it as a reflection of our native language, but there's a couple of reasons why that's not the most helpful. For one, translating is a whole different skill. Translating is not necessarily the same as understanding new vocabulary within its own right. You know this if you've ever had to switch between languages really quickly. It's really hard to shift that space in your brain. It's a whole other skill. Not only that, but our brains love meaning. Our brains love for things to mean something, like emotionally or in a story. It helps our brains understand these words as a part of the language, as a part of something that we remember, and not just something that we, get tested on or check off the box of. Of course, that doesn't mean that apps that teach you words without context are bad, as long as you're creating your own context for that vocabulary. Now, one app that I really like how it does this is Linguist. Linguist introduces new vocabulary within context of a sentence. So it's like a fill in the blank kind of thing. So with Linguist, you don't have to make your own context. It's already available for you. It makes it so much easier to remember this new vocabulary, especially in the way that Linguist introduces it, because basically if you get it wrong, you're gonna have to see it again and again and again until you get it right. Linguist also has a bunch of different categories for beginner vocabulary, so if you need somewhere to start. And they have a really fancy feature where if you take a picture of a bunch of text or you just type in some words in your target language, it'll automatically create word banks for those words and then automatically put them into context, even if there's no context readily available. It's a really pretty app, and it's great for beginner all the way up to advanced, so I'm a big fan. Another thing that makes a language app really high quality is that you can tell that you're actually growing in your language learning and not just addicted to the fun, upbeat sounds and pictures and colors. There's nothing inherently wrong for using that kind of stuff for motivation, but if that's the only thing that you're getting out of it, then it's not actually benefiting your language learning. Now, generally speaking, while a lot of language learning apps do have analytics and daily streaks and stuff like that, most of them aren't genuinely helpful if you follow those analytics and graphs and numbers they give you. Generally speaking, I don't recommend basing your growth off of that, but I do really love Anki's analytics. The analytics and the data behind it are amazing and be really beneficial to see your language learning grow over time if you use it correctly. While Anki does keep track of your daily streak kind of thing, the more important aspect of Anki's analytics that I like is that it keeps track of the words that you're taking in, how well they're actually getting stuck in your brain, how many words you're learning per day, how many minutes it takes you to learn different words, which words you're really having a hard time learning so that you can really focus in on those. It keeps track of which words are really, really easy for you so you don't see them nearly as much. As for keeping track of your growth and keeping track of which vocabulary you're learning and how you're growing in your vocabulary, Anki cannot be beat. The third sign of a really great language app is that it teaches you to function in the language and not just playing games or translating. Now, this could mean a whole bunch of different ways. It could mean writing things out, it could mean speaking, it could mean something like listening to a story and having to respond to comprehension questions. The point is that it's encouraging you to live and act within the language and not necessarily with translations. One language app that I think does this really, really well is Lingodeer. Lingodeer is really great at helping you cross the bridge between that translation, multiple choice, kind of service level language learning, and pushes you into actual thinking and using the language as just like a new part of your brain. Lingodeer is really good at pushing you from English to your target language, really gradually, but also really quickly. It is definitely a challenge, but honestly, if your language app isn't challenging you, then it's not teaching you anything either. Lingodeer will give you a conversation and it'll start out with multiple choice and then you'll fill in the blank and then you will just speak it. It goes by really quickly, but I really like how it trains you to switch up how you're treating language learning in your brain and your relationship to it. So it's not just like a quiz that you're taking, you're learning to actually communicate with it. Have you made a language app that you love and you feel like it really genuinely helps your language learning and it isn't just a fun game? Let me know in the comment section. The fourth sign of a great language app is that it supports active practice and not just that multiple choice, not just the pressing buttons passively. While multiple choice and those like easy surface level exercises do have their place to a degree, if you depend on that, then you're not going to be able to actually use the language. You can't use the language unless you practice using the language. If you've ever done a thing where you spent like 3 months on Duolingo and then you're confused as to why you can't speak, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. My favorite app for this right now is Yask. Yask is really perfect for taking that passive knowledge where you can read and understand and comprehend generally, but you have absolutely zero practice actually using the language, and it helps bridge that gap between the passive and the active. It does that by providing you with words and phrases and grammar concepts and prompting you to write them or speak them and actively use the language in really quick exercises so you can get a lot done. I mean, you really just get a prompt and you write out one simple sentence and then that's it, and you learn from that. There is nothing multiple choice about Yask. So it's basically, you have to actually already understand the thing and want to translate that into active use of the thing. Number 5 is that a quality language learning app will switch up the context of what you're doing instead of just giving you the same 2 or 3 sentences over and over again. Not only is that really boring and not actually interesting, but you also end up just memorizing the sentence and not necessarily depending on your use of the vocabulary or the grammar. Remember, the point here is to internalize the vocabulary, internalize the concepts. And if you're just internalizing that specific sentence, then it's not helping your actual language learning as much as you want it to, at least. A language app that I love for this is Closemaster. Closemaster has like a gazillion different sentences, and the whole concept of Closemaster is that you have a sentence and you have to fill in the blank with the word or the conjugation, the grammar point, whatever it is that you're studying. Closemaster has curated collections of, for example, if you're learning the difference between por and para in Spanish, then you can go through like 10,000 sentences or something ridiculous like that to really truly understand the differences between those 2 words. Or if you want, you can also go into Closemaster and search their entire database of sentences for a specific word that you're trying to use, create a collection of that word and like its conjugations if it's a verb, and learn how to use that particular word in context of a gazillion sentences until you have internalized how to hear it, how to spell it, how to appropriately use it in a sentence, all kinds of things. Just like Yask, Closemaster is for more intermediate to advanced language learners though, so if you're still a beginner, you gotta back up a little bit and learn the vocabulary, learn the grammar first. And the final sign of a great language app is that it engages you in a way that keeps you genuinely engaged. Now this can mean a lot of different things, but it's really important to make sure that you are genuinely engaged and not just addicted to quick little dopamine releases. This could look like an audiobook, like Pimsleur if you're, driving to work or something. This could mean curated videos like LingoPie. This could mean texting constantly using like HelloTalk or Tandem. Or this could be listening to music on Spotify. Whatever the method is, as long as it truly engages you and truly interests you and excites you and keeps you focused in on enjoying the language in a way that's beneficial to you, that is incredibly important. And it's honestly the first step. Every other thing that I mentioned in this video is absolutely a sign of a high quality language app. But if you don't enjoy using it, then no matter how high quality it is, you're still not going to use it, so it's not going to benefit you. So above all else, make sure that what you're doing is something that you enjoy. If you want to learn more about how to find language resources that will work for you personally in your own language goals, click the link below in the description for my free training where I share exactly how I teach my clients how to make these decisions for themselves based on their own needs and not based on mine. And if you want to learn more, check out this video where I share a lot of really common problems that language learners experience, partly because they don't follow these rules that I've mentioned in this video. Other than that, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.